Alright guys, we are back in my shop. It is Friday, the best day of the week. As you can see here, we are prepared to get a lot of work done tonight. I've got the oven preheating over here. Got me a little toaster oven, microwave essentials. Make a little pizza, get a little din-din. But we... So David brought his little project here.
It's a big project.
Yeah, it is kind of a big project. He has got some over fenders for his S13, straight from the Dominican Republic. They're a little budget friendly, so they do need some work. Honestly, they're not bad though for the price point. I mean, they've got some imperfections. I don't know how well you can see that, but like the mounting lips, stuff like that, inside of the vents. So we're gonna do a Bondo skim coat. And Dave, do you have any experience with Bondo?
Not really.
No.
I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll do it.
All right, so he's at least touched Bondo before. I've never fooled with Bondo at all. So we're going to kind of figure this out as we go. I've got some serious straightening up to do. The shop is an absolute mess just from the installing the hydro, new axles, full rear brake job on the Z. I've just got crap everywhere. Everything's installed. We're getting the wheels back on here. And I am filming on my iPhone, so sorry if things seem different. It might be better than the GoPro, I don't know. But I forgot the SD card in my computer at home, and I don't feel like going back home to get just an SD card. So we're
stuck here until the sun comes up.
Yeah, my lovely assistant here is getting the wheels back on the Z. I'd like to test it, but I do need to cut a hole, of course, where the handle mounts here in the middle. We've got a piece of trim that has to go there. So where is it? It's around here somewhere. Here's the center part. And I discovered if you unplug these, the rest of your gauges don't work. And I really don't want to do no gauges while testing for self-explanatory reasons. This piece. This piece, the shifter bezel here, needs to be cut. So, I mean, you can see that goes there with the handle. Needs to be cut somewhere in here. Pretty much like this whole corner section needs to go. So we can slip it down over top of that handle.
Okay, now, measure once, cut 4 times.
It's pretty much going to be...
Measure once, cut 4 times.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Well, a lot of Dremel work, and I don't know if I'm going to start with a hole saw or how I'm going to go about this. But we're going to figure it out as we go. And hopefully it turns out halfway decent, because I'm going to stare at it pretty much every time I get in the car and judge my own work tremendously.
We're going to consume apple pie moonshine.
We did get a little bit of apple pie moonshine we're going to try out. So, pretty much we're in a race to test the car before we try the apple pie moonshine. So, we've got to get to work here, and again, I don't want to try and cut my interior after trying apple pie moonshine, because that's a bad idea. But so I'm gonna fix a pizza real quick. We're gonna straighten up the shop, and then I'm gonna get to work. Honestly, I might just let Dave straighten up the shop, and I might get to work because I don't like cleaning the shop. But yeah, stay tuned.
You go off the diff, right?
Yeah, that's fine. This brackets did make the rear tires poke a little. Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Perfect.
I don't need to roll anything.
Perfect.
Yet. All right. I'm gonna stop procrastinating now. All right, we're back. Sorry if I just yelled in your ear. I was a little excited. So we're back on the ground. You saw that, and we've been sanding a touch. Get up here. We've been sanding a touch, or at least Dave has. I haven't touched these things. This is our very advanced, sophisticated workbench. And most of the imperfections we thought we were going to have to Bondo are kind of coming out with just sanding. So I guess whatever sealer they've put over this is coming out pretty good. We're still going to have to work, like, you can kind of see how it like dips right there. So that corner isn't like truly square. That looks really bad at this angle.
Yeah, if you stand back and look at it, it's
Yeah.
like you're at the beach. It's pretty wavy. But really, any piece of fiberglass you buy, whether it's this piece of crap or super nice, like you're gonna have to skim it if you want that quality finish. I just want something smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not going for show quality finish, just something nice and presentable.
Yeah, I mean, like anything that you paint, if you do it right, you're gonna have to sand it. You can't paint some. The hell was that? Something just fell behind me. That freaked me out. I don't know. It's not moving now. We just started the big adventure.
Yeah, that's the worst spot for sure.
Getting in that corner is gonna be really rough. I don't know if we're gonna be able to sand that out or if we're gonna have to skim it with Bondo. But
we're gonna throw it in there and we're gonna sand away till I like it.
we might be here a while. So we just broke the Bondo out. I guess some people would consider playing with Bondo a bit satisfying. So
yeah, for
gonna
weird,
kinda-
because this stuff stinks.
yeah, it
But
doesn't.
yeah, when you
smell
buy
so good.
Bondo, it just comes with this stuff, and then it's got the little pack of hardener. I'm not an expert. I'm just gonna throw some on there, put a little bit of hardener, mix it up. The less hardener you put in it, obviously, the longer it's gonna take to harden up. The more you put in there, the quicker it's gonna harden up. So we'll just play it by ear. I don't need a ton because I think I'm just going to do that first spot by the vent first. Maybe some other spots.
So you're not gonna try and sand that at all. You're just gonna go ahead and skim it.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to goop it in there and try to shape it up. From what I read on the instructions, it says about a golf ball size, maybe 2 or 3 drops. And you can kind of go by the color of it. If it's a little bit lighter, you know you need some more hardener. If it's dark, you know you got to work a little bit quicker. So I just get the corner, mix it up. Grab it, smooth it, grab it.
God, it really stinks now
It
that we're like
stinks, dude.
stirring this stuff up.
I hate it.
It's pretty atrocious. If it's anything like JB Weld, it's like the smell gets stuck like in your clothes and like in my beard, and I can smell it for like the rest of the night until I take a shower. It's gross.
Yeah, just mix it. You want to make sure you mix it really, really well. I don't know if that's good enough. I mean, just looking at it, it looks kind of in the middle, I guess. We'll throw it on there. And if it takes a while to dry, we got plenty of beer.
I've never done this before, so I pretty much have no idea what's going on. I'm just filming, trying to stay out of the way for the most part.
Stuff's making my eyes burn. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of get in there and goop it on there, you know. And really what we're trying to do at this level is just fill in the imperfections. I mean, we can go through and add as many layers, but the thicker you go on, the more you got to sand. working, over that seam is really hard when I had to fill it on the seam. So I just kind of try to go on the top and work it over the seam. Where was the other bad one? The corner?
Yeah, I mean, really an imperfection in this spot is difficult to do because like you have to build it up, and then when you sand this down, sorry if I'm in your way.
Oh, you good?
When you sand this down, you've got to try and match this like body line here. So like right where the ridge is right about where our imperfection was. So when you sand it, you'll have to match pretty much perfectly, or else it'll be pretty noticeable. So that's a rough spot. Same thing if you have like a dent in a body line. I mean, like bodywork guys pretty much hate that.
Yeah, the other worst spot was right here, so I'll probably just get a little bit in there. Try to build that up. Probably should have put some tape. That's good enough for now. I'll just sand it and keep working that area.
That is goopy.
It can be goopy because I'm working with 120, so it's gonna take any of those high spots off.
All right, we're in my car now. I've finally worked up the courage to cut up my interior. So this install is pretty clean. It just bolts in here. There's a plate that extends out. You've got the master cylinder that mounts here. Master hydrant, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, dude. Brake cylinder. Hose comes back. We've tucked it along here. So there is like a factory support bar that goes all the way across there. Of course, I had to cut there and cut there so that the cylinder could clear. And then I had to cut this piece of trim that's attached to like the center armrest area. Then of course just the screws go in there. And now I'm trying to take measurements to see where exactly I need to cut my shifter bezel. Pretty much just eyeballed it, marked it with a pencil, and I'm just kind of going to town. I did make my first cut, and then we kind of forgot to record it. So we're going to start recording it now, and I can't promise how this is going to turn out. I don't have high hopes, to be quite honest with you, but we're going to give it a shot. Trying to get up in the corners real good. This does not look big enough at all. Oh well, start small.
Like I said, measure once, cut 3 times.
Start small. You can always take more out. It'd be very difficult to put it back. This is probably not the best tool for this job.
It's the only tool.
Who wants to see me cut into my thigh?
If we keep drinking more, the blood will get flowing real nice. Bleed out in the Z.
Yeah. Oh wow, that vibrates. I know this looks rough, but bear with me here.
Melted plastic.
Trust the process a little bit. Oh, man. A little wider, a little wider. We'll do like the 3 dots wider on each side. That's a form of measurement, right? 3 dots wider.
3 trim dots.
3 trim dots. 3 Z trim dots.
Oh my god.
Shut up.
Watch your legs.
No. Things stink.
Stinky. It doesn't look very good, dude.
I'm not responding because I'm not happy with the outcome.
I'm just teasing you.
Oof. It's gotta be functional. I can pretty it up. This is just all rough draft stuff. Ignore the very neat and tidy wiring. Yeah, we'll just handle that at a later date.
This is already an 8-minute clip. How do people do 10-minute videos?
A lot of editing.
Oh no.
Well, that's not gonna work. I've got it cut up higher.
Yeah, the screws are hitting on the back too.
This thing might be getting hacked. I don't know, we'll see.
If it was me, I wouldn't even run it.
Delete the whole bezel. Well, I want my climate control for my heat and fan.
Why don't you man up like me and just not have any heat or AC?
Well, I at least want heat.
No. You're getting too technical with it.
Sheesh.
Look at that. You're cutting where I told you to originally cut.
All right. Better. All right, what are we held up on?
The bolt. The bolt.
Well, shit. It's not going to be as clean as I thought it was going to be.
What did you expect?
Oh, I was really hoping it'd just be like the handle protruding. But it's
You must have not been very good at geometry.
I wasn't. At all. All right, little update here. Bring you guys into my car real quick. So I did get that hole cut, and then I realized it didn't turn out good. I'll give you a sneak peek. Anyway, the handle itself was contacting like the climate control knobs, and I really couldn't cut any further. I had no choice but to adjust the actual handle base on the threads of the cylinder here, and I already had it bottomed out, so I had to disassemble everything, or not everything, but I had to take it apart, trim this, and I'm just kind of taking a break right now. And I was helping Dave for a minute, so update you guys on sanding progress here. We haven't touched this fender yet, but dude, I have to say, this fender, I mean, it is really coming a long way with just a little bit of sanding. I mean,
yeah, so we put one coat of Bondo on, or no, we put one coat, I sanded it down, put another coat on some other areas or some spots that I missed. Now I'm going back through the second time with the same grit, sanding down, kind of shaping.
I mean, dude, just sanding alone. I mean, like, we didn't Bondo here. You know, there's a couple of different spots that we didn't Bondo at all. And just from sanding it, I guess just this finishing, whatever this gray stuff is, just kind of gooped up. Like, yeah, like in here, this is a little sanded, but you can see like the shadows of like the drops that had formed. And just cleaning that up with some sandpaper really made a huge difference.
It doesn't have to be perfect because I think the wrap is going to be pretty thick, so it'll hide a lot of that. But
I'd agree with that. Yeah, if we were if we were painting this stuff, I mean, like, you can try and use self-etching primer. It kind of just goes on thick and it fills in sanding marks and things like that. I've seen some really botched paint jobs from like used car lots and stuff. But we're using a very coarse sandpaper, so you can see actually like the grain of the sandpaper getting in there and leaving its marks. So if you were to just paint over this with regular paint and primer, you would actually be able to see that when like the sun shines on it.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah, but if we wrap this, I mean, the mill of that wrap, it's just gonna gloss right over it. It's gonna hide a lot of imperfections, like what Dave was saying. It's very forgiving for the most part.
Yeah, so what I'll probably do is get these kind of where I like them, and then I'll probably hit them with like a 300 grit or something around that area, and then maybe Scotch Brite it, and then I'll probably just call it a day. But just doing a lot of shaping with the Bondo and the 120 grit is just making a big difference.
Definitely been chipping away at it. I mean, it's come a long way. First laid eyes on these things, we were like,
this is definitely like the worst spot of it all. And I missed a little bit here, and we hit that on the second pass, but like that's a lot better than what it was.
Absolutely. They were just like, I don't know, just
giant
like
gouges,
pitted, and just they were nasty in the corners, but definitely getting there. It's amazing what a little sandpaper does. I gotta say, I'm thoroughly impressed with the actual, I guess, quality of these over fenders now that we've kind of sanded them for their price.
Yeah, for the price, not bad.
So if we can doctor up the actual fitment on the car, I haven't actually laid eyes on that. Just taking Dave's word for it, but
not good.
Just a little finesse and some time and aggravation and more beer.
And more beer.
Yeah. And more beer. But all right, little update. We're gonna keep chipping away, and I'll get back with you. Stay tuned. So it's done. Finally, the trim is in. Sadly, so with 350Zs, this white box you see that's currently just hanging out, I've got to fasten that better. This is attached to your climate controls here. I don't know why they couldn't just do a direct plug-in. For some reason there's like a module here, whatever. So this piece no longer had a home because of the actual like cylinder that's now in its way. So that combined with the lid of the cylinder, the radio doesn't fit. So I can either try and look for like a single DIN radio, like something slimmer, possibly like change out this, or I don't know, however they make a bezel or whatever. Some have like a little pocket underneath. Could do that. Probably not going to do that because it is a drift car. My cuts turned out pretty good. Not my finest work. A little funky. Cut down a little far, for my opinion. Kind of wish it was a little closer, as you can see here. But it is pretty neat, I guess, because you can see like the mechanics of the handle as it works. So, like I said, not my best work, but I'm not upset about it. It's functional and it works, and I still have my climate controls. And of course I did have to remove this whole thing to trim the rod that I was showing you guys, so that I could get the handle to tip back just a little further, because it was contacting like severely to the point where this shifter bezel wouldn't like go into place. So I had to make the resting position a little further back there, and it just ever so slightly touches when it goes all the way up. But very pleased with this. I'm really excited to test this thing out. So really all that's left to do is, I guess I could do that now, but just anchor the T-fitting that's in the trunk of the car here. So this T-fitting here, I was waiting to see if I could get a little more. Hell yeah. So I'm going to see if I can like get a spacer. I don't know if I'll just stack washers or what I'm going to do, but probably try and utilize the already threaded hole from the factory and just mount it right here so it'll hang out. A little bit of slack in the back, but no issues. Both grommets hold those lines pretty taut. Alright guys, so I'm finally finished with the hydro kit install. We've got everything finished inside. Had to delete the radio, not a big deal. Drift cars don't need radios, and I'd much rather have my climate control. That way I can use defrost if we're trying to drift on like a rainy day or something like that. So all of the trim is put in here. Turned out okay. You know, not my best work with the cut there, but it's functional, and that's what matters. We'll probably test this tomorrow in the daylight and things of that sort, just when we have more energy, because I'm pretty much gassed at this point. I was able to use a threaded factory hole here that had nothing in it, sourced the bolt and all the hardware, and had this lovely little spacer in my supply of junk that I was able to raise this fitting up a little bit so that it could actually clear, because the floor drops down right here. So had to space that up, worked flawlessly, and added some nice little P-straps there and there under some factory hardware just to hold these lines in place. The less wiggle and pressure you have on fittings, the better, less chance of leaks, and then just kind of tidied things up a bit, just incorporated, and I don't know, I just left this. I don't need to leave it, but I prefer to leave things if I can. But we're good, finally. I'm pretty confident. I mean, the pressure on the handle feels good. You know, it's got good resistance, it snaps back, everything seems to be operational. So we're finally gonna take it for a rip tomorrow in the daytime when it's a little warmer, when I'm well rested. Just don't have it in me. Poor David's been sanding all night. But his fenders, I mean, they have really, really turned out good.
They're not show quality, but they're presentable.
I'd consider them a pretty good deal. I mean, without seeing the fitment, I haven't seen the fitment yet. That might sway my opinion a bit, but I mean, finish-wise, with a little bit of sanding, they're really not bad. We did find a few cracks, but I mean, they were shipped all the way from the Dominican Republic, so I'm not surprised. Probably come back, test the system earlier tomorrow, and yeah, so see you tomorrow. All right, well, didn't really have enough time today to test this thing properly. I was able to kind of putt around my shop area. I ripped the hydro like 3 times. It worked perfectly. Wasn't trying to do any 6 skids or anything. Just wanted to make sure everything worked and was put together. Didn't want it to break far away and then be late to the event that I need to get to here in a little bit. I did drop down off of some pavement and caught the rear bumper. And it kind of tried to exit the vehicle here, so I don't know. I might fix that, try and patch it up. Bumper was never perfect to begin with. It was only $35 out of a junkyard. I didn't even paint it. It just matched. Might repair it, keep rocking it. Might go KBD body kit a little bit sooner than planned. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I still want to test this thing properly and get some footage of it. But peace.